Hi, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me. I chose to do this in StreamYard tonight because I wanted to be able to show everybody's comments. And I felt that this was an important means in order to do so. So I'm using it tonight for the first time. So hopefully you all can hear me. Give me a minute. Let me just turn up my volume. Okay, you can hear me. Good. I know that. I'm really happy. First of all, I want to welcome everybody tonight. And I decided to do this show this morning. I just thought we'll do a show that says Let's Chat. And then I came across a memory on Facebook, and it said, who has your back? And the picture of my daughter and with her service dog, Jordan, was there. And I thought, you know what? This is what we're going to talk about tonight. I wanted the people that knew Steve Moleski very well to be able to share yesterday. For those that don't know, he was a member on the lifeboat crew member, and he passed away early Friday morning. And so I didn't feel it was my place, but hi, Sandy Wendy. I wanted to make sure that those people that knew him closer, and that's one of the reasons I didn't use his picture, because I didn't feel like it was my place to do so. So I used my daughter and her service animal because I tell her often, your dog, whether he's here or not, still has your back. And I thought, you know what? I've been somebody that's been in this situation and circumstance that I've watched my friends who I've grown close to grieve over someone, and I did have an opportunity to let him know while he was in the hospital that we were praying for him, and he thanked me, and that I've watched them just cry, and I thought, you know what, I want them to know I have their back, and I thought, how many in our lives people, and from what I can understand from a lot of people that knew Steve very well, that he had a lot of people's back. And, I want to encourage everybody to, really seek out those people that not only in the good times, but in the difficult times have your back. And if they're only there in the good and then they kind of scatter when it's the bad or when it's even the touch of difficult, then maybe they're a person that you decide, this person does not have my back. And I think that it's really important to have, of course, we have our family members that, you know, um, our family members that, that are there and they technically should have our back. But, it, it's hard because I think that there's somewhat of a separation. I know my husband and my daughter and my mother all have my back. But I have friends now that are starting to come beside me and have my back. And of course, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and all of those, all of those people and my cousins and all that, they all have my back. But, then, and if I needed any one of them, they would be here. But it, I think it's really important you have a core of friends that they're not there for you because they're family. They're there because they care and they love you. And I think that's really, really important. And I think that if you have people in your life that, when the littlest wave comes along, they don't have your back and they kind of scatter and they only come around during good times, then you need to see those are people I cannot count on. I have had a family member recently in my life that has decided to, in December, kind of exit for a while. Whether that's permanent or not, I do not know. But I thought it was somebody that would have my back, and unfortunately, it's not. And if that person chooses to come back in, I don't know if I can ever trust that they'll ever have my back, and that's sad. I will be putting boundaries up, but I really felt this was a really important discussion. And you're right, Sandy. It's really struck me these past few days how many people in the lifeboat are really looking out for each other. It was one of the reasons I decided we've opened the P.O. box for, of course, all the cards and all the postcards that are coming our way for Tommy, just to say how much we appreciate all that he does. But now I wanted to open up for anybody that wanted to, and the address for that is in my description below. Anybody that wanted to send a condolence card or a postcard to Steve's family, just make sure you're putting the name of who it's going to, so I don't get confused between Tommy's and Cedar's and Spanky's postcards and Steve's postcards. And then one of his close friends will be coming beside, and I will be able to hand them off to her, and she will go ahead and pass them on to his family. Jenn Marie was very close. Please look up her channel. It's also in the description below, Between the Cracks, and I will be handing them to her, and she will be passing them on. I know when my dad first passed away, I didn't look at condolence cards very much or pay attention to them because I was in such grief over my dad, that it wasn't until probably about 2 months later till I really paid attention to any of the grief cards or the condolence cards or reread them again. So I thought, what a joy to be able to offer this to those on the lifeboat that really wanted to come in and can I send something? This is the way Steve touched my life, or he was just a crew member on the lifeboat. I want to make sure that we're honoring him and that he's coming on, and so forth and so on. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to open the P.O. box in the manner in which I did, because I wanted to be able to give people the opportunity to do so. Give me just a minute. I just want people to know we're on. So I just really encourage, to start looking for people that have your back, and making sure that we're looking to that. Give me just a second. And sometimes, we don't even realize that that they're needed. For instance, I remember when my daughter was getting married, and I think this is all certainly by God's design, but I'd had, and I did put the lifeboat, in case anybody's not on there, I did put the lifeboat link there as well. But I did make it so that I sent an invitation out to my daughters, my godparents' granddaughters, which I grew up with. My daughter wasn't terribly close to them, and I sent it to their mother as well. And people were like, they're not going to come. Why? And I said, I just feel like I need to, because honor my grandparents. They're no longer here. And a couple weeks before the wedding, my Mary Beth called me up and she said, can I come? And I said, sure, you got an invitation, you can come. Well, you know what? This woman just came in. She had my back and came in and just swooped in and just absolutely 100%. I was so grateful for her. She came and she went and brought the lunch for the girls. She went and, picked up came back for the wedding, helped us break down everything, took people to the airport the next day, it was just like she had my back when I was so tired and so exhausted from all the work up to the wedding, and then during the wedding, and then after the wedding. I was so tired that I needed somebody to come beside me and have my back. And so I just felt like I wanted to do something to be able to say to, Steve is not with us anymore. And he was a believer. We know where he's sitting. He's sitting in the right hand of Christ. He's no longer in pain. He's no longer in suffering anymore. And what a wonderful, wonderful thing. I know for my dad, I miss him greatly, terribly, but I know that he is just in heaven, and I know that he has no pain anymore. And that is a gift, and that is a peace that passes all understanding at times, but it doesn't mean that we don't miss the people that we love. It doesn't mean that we can't grieve over them. Of course we can. We're separated from them until we meet them again. And I thought, how can I just be there for the people that are coming in and grieving over a loss of a friend. And this is the way I felt that I could do it. I could open my house and say, come on in and be here to just talk and connect. And I've got your back. That's why I opened the P.O. box, because I thought it's sometimes people, when in times like this, they feel like they want to do something. And I thought, what a sweet thing to be able to hand his family these cards and postcards for Steve and be able to sit and read them. They can't do that necessarily now, but in a month or two, it'll probably be very comforting to them. So, having somebody's back means you're there in the good times and you're there in the not so good times. You don't get to choose when you have a friend, and I'm not excluding family, but I'm really focusing on friendships. I'm really focusing on those connections you make in a friendship-based situation. That's what I'm focusing on. When you have those connections and those friendships, and there's sometimes, depending on the circumstances people were raised in, they've had to create their own family. To some of these people, Steve was a brother. And what a great gift that he could come in and be a brother, or even sometimes I heard, this was like a father figure. I didn't have one. And so this man became that for me. Sometimes we need to have adopted brothers and sisters. I'm an only child. I will never have that opportunity. And I have sisters-in-law and I have brothers-in-law, and I love them dearly. But my pile of friendships that are growing into, I feel like I have a whole lot more brothers and sisters than I could have ever imagined, thanks to the lifeboat, because they've come beside and they've just wrapped me up and said, we love you, and we care about you, and you're a pretty awesome girl, and they've just lifted me up. And so sometimes if we have had a family situation that's not so good, we sometimes need to create those families of really good influences that can help us bring us up and see what our worth is inside. And sometimes when in like this situation where I didn't know Steve very well, I didn't have that opportunity, where can I come beside those that are grieving, and just say, listen, I can't do much, but I got your back. I got your back. And that was opening the P.O. box and say, here, send the cards, send the postcards. I will make sure that his family gets them. And I think that we sometimes forget how important, hi, Kristen, how important it is that we have that, where somebody's like, thank you. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for coming beside me. And sometimes it's not very pretty. Sometimes it's really difficult. But I will never live my life without connection ever again. And I will never live without being able to say, I've got a friend that I can go to and lean on. And I have friends that know that, you know what? If you needed me, I'm just a phone call away. And I will get up in the middle of the night. And if I need to sit on the phone with you for an hour, I will gladly do that. My daughter's moving into a new home, and all those weird noises and all those weird sounds and everything are going to be new for her. And I said, you know what? If you need me to just be on the phone on FaceTime, I'll mute myself just to feel like you've got somebody there. We'll gladly do that. That's fine. That's what FaceTime has done. And that's what it's for. I had a dear friend, her name was Lori, and was going through a really rough time. And this was during the time that I was also kind of finishing the last details for Christina's wedding. And I said, Lori, I don't know if I can focus on you right now, but if it just helps to have me on FaceTime, and when she would say, Mary, I just need to hear your voice for a second, I would pop in and say, hi, I'm right here. You have somebody. You're not by yourself. I think that that's what we forget. We forget how important it is to have somebody just there when we're going through the struggles. And thankfully, we have wrapped the people like, Jenn and like Tommy and like other people that knew him. We've just developed, surrounded them with love. And that's exactly what we need to do. Grieving is really hard, and grieving by yourself is absolutely miserable. And as far as I'm concerned, should never happen. There are times where I still miss my dad. There are times when I think of him and I can smile, and there's other times where I can get teary-eyed, and there's other times I can just sit there not understanding. My dad had dementia for 7 years. He had dementia for 7 years. Yes, it is, Miss Hummingbird. It is absolutely miserable. And I chose to use StreamYard tonight because I wanted everybody's comments to be shown. So I'm working to try to get the comments in the comments into my other platforms so y'all can read the thing. I'm eventually going to get to StreamYard. But anyway, I just, it's okay. My dad's in a better place. He's in a better place. But my point of it is, I know for myself with my dad that had dementia for 7 years, I can sit there going, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, did this make sense? Because I think that to some degree, when we may lose somebody, none of it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. I know for a lot of people, they're like, oh, could Steve have just been here for a little bit longer? But, God does say that you're going to be born when you are, and you're going to leave this world when you are. But I can sit here going, I don't understand. I don't understand why my dad had to go through 7 years of dementia. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why my uncle passed away when his mother was in her 90s. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to make any sense. It's not easy to accept. You need time to go through the grieving process. And there's going to be times where I still think of my dad and I get emotional. New Year's, January 1st of every year is always going to be difficult. Father's Day is never going to be the same again. My birthday is never going to be the same because oftentimes my birthday and Father's Day lined up together. They lined up together. And so I find, especially if Father's Day falls on my birthday, it's a really hard time. And I don't know if that'll ever get easier. It may get easier. I know when down the road when I become a grandmother for the first time, it's going to be like, Dad, I really wish you were here to see your great-grandchildren. He'd have loved it. Oh my goodness, he'd have loved it. None of this makes sense. But I can't do anything for Steve anymore. But man, I can make sure that the friends that I have come to love and care for know I have their back. Because I know where Steve is. I know where my dad is. They're out of pain. They're happy. I wouldn't want my dad back here for anything in the world. Because he really spent 7 years in misery. So they're in a beautiful, beautiful place. but it doesn't make it easier for the people that are still here. Oh, yes. And I guarantee you, I said it was, I said, oh boy, I bet it was the biggest cake that ever happened in heaven when my dad, came and because he loved cake. And I thought Steve had a whole row of pie is sitting out there waiting for him when he went home. And so, but we've got to realize how many people have been placed in our lives that we can say, you know what, that person has my back. And I would be very careful for the people that go, okay, I'm here for the good times, but when you start getting the choppy, rough waters, I'll see you later. That ain't happening on this girl's watch. I'm going to be there for my friends, whether it's good times or difficult times, because when it's good times, I need them just as much as when it's hard times. And I'm not going to get through life with everything all happy-go-lucky and there's no problems and there's no issues. And that would be really nice. It's going to have our choppy waters, and we're going to need people to come beside us and have our back. And this is why I picked this picture. I didn't put Steve's picture there, and I thought, I want people to understand why. I'm not taking anything from Steve, but because I didn't feel as if I didn't feel as if I knew him well enough that I could put his picture up. But I thought this picture of Christina with Jordan just sitting on her shoulder, I thought he had her back. And I remind her, you know what? Yes, that's what I've heard all the time. And I just sat there going, oh, we're just going to chat tonight. And I thought, you know what? I saw this post. I'm like, that's what people keep saying. So how can I do it? And if you realize there's pie in the thumbprint, but I just keep reminding my daughter, you know what, Jordan will always have your back. Steve's always going to have the people that he had their back. He's always going to have their back. My dad always has my back. My grandfather, my grandmother, my Nana, they're always there. And one day I know exactly where I'll get to be. But let's make sure that we realize how important connection is. I think Steve would have been sitting there going, wake up, everybody. Get this connection thing. Get the gist of it. Get the drive of it. Do you realize how important it is to sobriety, to just getting through everyday life? Wake up. Wake up. He'd be sitting there preaching to the hilltop. This connection thing, it works. It does something to your brain. It's not just fuddy-duddy stuff. It's true. It really makes a difference. My family's recently said, you're changing for the better. You're not as depressed. You're not as sad. You smile a lot more. Yeah. Because I got people messaging me saying, how you doing today? Boy, that feels so good. And then you get to the point where I don't know what to say to people that are going through this. Sometimes there's nothing to be said. Maybe just saying to them, you have my number, you can call me. If at 3 o'clock in the morning you can't sleep and you just need to cry on the other side of the phone, you got my number, you can call it anytime. Be prepared to stand in the trenches with that friend. Be prepared to do it. Because it will turn out to be a blessing to you in your life. That girl that came at my Christina's wedding, I made her a beautiful poncho and I sent it to her and I said, you were literally a lifesaver for us. We do not know what we would do. Because when I came in from her wedding, I literally couldn't walk. Getting your postcard. Oh, awesome. Awesome to send. Awesome. I love it. I love it, you all. Hi, Jenn Marie. I just want you to know, girl, we have your back. All of us here have your back. You are not alone. Not by any stretch of the means. You're not alone. This is why I did this show. I did it for everybody on the lifeboat, but the person that's sitting on the screen right now is one of the reasons I did this show. And we all have your back and we all love you. Every solitary one of us. So please realize how important it is. Tears are not something that are wasted. God counts every one of them. God knows them, and He treasures them. Oh, you're welcome, hon. I love you too. I can't thank you all enough. And for the connections that I have made. And Steve came into this world, and he certainly has left it better than he came in. He certainly did. Shouldn't that be all of our mottos? If we can spend 200 hours doing the most silliest of things, why don't we spend 200 hours putting it into people? You know, I'm not criticizing the gaming community in any way, shape, or form. If you have a kid who's by themselves, that is playing games all the time, shut the gaming off and get them involved in something that involves connection. And there's connections that happen with gaming. I'm not saying it doesn't. But if they're a loner, there's somebody that isn't connected. If they're spending time on the game and the computer and the game and all this kind of stuff, get them involved with something, a youth group, a club, something that they're going to flourish in so that they can start connecting with other people. There was somebody who said he very well-off man, and he said, he took his family on a cruise, paid for all 35 of them to go on the cruise, and that was their Christmas present, and they had a lovely time. He said, but our church decided to do bicycles. And he said, hi, Misha. He said, you know what? He said, I want to buy all the bikes. I can't remember the amount it was, but it was some significant amount. He said, I want to buy all the bikes. And he said, oh, you're welcome. He said, I want to buy all the bikes because he was able to do so. And he said, my family put all these bikes together. And he said, you know what? He said, you know what the best thing was? He said, that night, he said, the day we gave all these bikes away, and he said, I saw all the faces of these kids that got brand new bikes. He said that cruise was wonderful and it had a lot of memories, but I enjoyed handing out those bikes 10 times more than I enjoyed the cruise. I enjoyed seeing all those kids smile when they got their bikes. He said, I enjoyed my family and I enjoyed the cruise, but I enjoyed handing out those bikes more. Find something. I realized earlier that I've been holding out for the Moleski miracle. I couldn't believe that this could happen because I'm still waiting. Why didn't we realize it today? 1.5. Steve has been Moleski miracle all along, 2 by 2. Yes, he has, Misha. Listen. We have to treasure. This doesn't teach us anything. It teaches us one thing. We have to treasure every day, every solitary day with the people that God has put in our path. We have to, if we're sitting here dragging them down, It's a waste of our time. We need to be doing everything we can to lift them up. We have to do everything we can to just be giving them nothing but support. Dragging them down doesn't do anything. Not one thing. And we need to be doing everything we can to lift people up. Take the time to lift people up. I just want people to realize I'm trying to put every comment that comes through on the chat. That's why I use StreamYard today, because I want everybody to see this connection thing. I want everybody to see the chat that's going on in here. Do we not realize how important this is yet? It's why the connection project started for Tommy. And I can't do it by myself. We have 2 postcards. We got more coming in. I know that. But we have 81 people in the connection project. The connection project for the lifeboat. There's 80 people. There's 860 in the lifeboat group. So if you've got people that you know in there, let's get them in there. Let's get these postcards. I'm going to start the blanket very, very soon. I have several different things I've got to finish first. One is a blanket for my cousin who's having a baby, in baby showers in June, but I'm going to start it. Yeah, exactly. But when the problems happen, who has your back? You're welcome. That was awesome for you to create that, Misha. Jen says, I realized that when I talked Friday, Misha, so I didn't push what I knew. Yeah. We have to realize something. Community does not need to be, it's great if it's in your backyard, but the community on the lifeboat, let me repeat that several times. The community that has been built on the lifeboat is unique. And it is rippling out to people like me, to my other's keepers, to Jenn Marie, to other peoples that have channels. It is rippling. It is not just happening here and there. It is a ripple effect that people are experiencing. And we need to do everything we can to show it off to the world. Because there are people out there that are sitting by themselves that have no idea what to do or how to do it or how to live or what they're going through. I went ahead and put between the cracks on there for Jenn Marie. So everybody, please like her channel. I woke up this morning bawling. I never do that. I did this morning. I immediately felt Steve and Christina beside me. They found each other. It was as if no one, it was as if now I have 2 angels looking out for me. Amen. 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 Can I say that? This, Misha, about that? You have those 2 angels and you have a lot of other people looking out for you. And you got a lot of other people surrounding you with a lot of love. Absolutely. You've got a lot of other people looking out for you. Looking out for Jan Marie. Looking out for Miss Hummingbird. Looking out for Sandy Wendy. Looking out for me. Nobody is by themselves no more. I trying, y'all. Trying. Tears are okay. There was and I've told it a couple days in a row, but we had a member of our church have surgery. And I've embraced this thing recently that says, you know what? Mary has this great thing of when stuff has to get done, just leave it to Mary. She'll do it. She'll get it done. Sometimes I tend to, that's okay. That's okay. You're allowed. Sometimes, you know, I tend to not, you're fine. I tend to not always listen because I want to help. The part of me wants to help tremendously. And so I went ahead and I got food and I got Sam's Club chickens and I brought it over to her. And then we dropped off water and Gatorade to a friend that was moving. And I told her the fact that I wasn't looking for any, thing on the back of me. I was just looking for letting her know I did. And this lady had turned down everybody else. She didn't turn down me because I didn't give her the opportunity to. And she said to me, she goes, just leave it to Mary. She's the get it done girl in our church. Need something done, give it to Mary. And when I saw the gentleman on Saturday when we were helping, I didn't do much lifting at all. I couldn't. But we were just there to kind of help and so forth and there to support my friend. And the gentleman said, do you know you fed us for like a week and a half? And he said, we had sandwiches. We had chicken noodle soup. We had chicken. He said, you fed us for like a week and a half. It was just 2 chickens and some rolls and stuff. It really wasn't that big a deal. I'm glad I fed you. He said, do you want some chicken? I said, no. Hopefully you put it in the freezer and you pull it out whenever you need it. It's fine. Today at church, I brought my daughter 2 chickens from Sam's Club because they're also going through a tiring time in their life right now. And there was a special at Sam's Club with chicken thighs that were really a good price. So I got one for me, 2 packets for me and 1 for my daughter. And I all froze them and I stuck them in there and I said, here, put them in your freezer. Do we realize how simple this is? If you are local with a friend that is going through a difficult time, go get them a rotisserie chicken. You don't even have to cook it yourself. It is amazing. And then the lady who moved, when we picked up the 2 chickens for my daughter, we stopped off. Hi, Seventh. What an honor to have you in here. It's an honor to have everybody. But anyway, but anyway, she said to me today, she said, it was so good. She said, we were so tired after our, the rotisserie chickens are awesome. She said, we were so tired last night. She said, your chickens came in so handy. Your chickens came in so handy. Oh, I have some vintage postcards I'm trying to find so I can send some extras as well. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I did get some Happy Mail from somebody, but I'm going to wait on that till this week to show you all because I just didn't think it was appropriate tonight. But she was like, we sat down and had the most delicious chicken last night because they were exhausted. They're older couple in our church and they were tired. They just moved. And my mom's like, I said, we'll just take the chickens home and we'll bring it to them tomorrow at church. And she goes, what if they don't have anything for dinner tonight? And they didn't. And my chickens came in handy. And I'll go up to her and I've come to her house every once in a while. And I said, I'm your local chicken delivery, rotisserie chicken. But this is what I'm talking about. Have the person's back. And if you can't be there, in person, offer your phone. And if you're not comfortable handing out your phone number, we have Messenger through Facebook. We have Messenger through so many different apps now that you don't have to hand out your phone. You've got WhatsApp and all this other kind of stuff. You miss your Costco membership. I didn't realize how much I bought. I like Sam's Club, and I've heard the chickens are more expensive at Costco, but that's the local one we have. But y'all, if you don't think Steve is watching from up there, having the people that he loved, that you have all have their back, and smiling and dancing, oh, yes, he is. Yep, they're amazing, and they're so helpful. When I go to Sam's Club, I get my 2 chickens and bring them home because usually I'm pretty exhausted. Trust me, this feeling of love and loss that we've had, this is real. The pain, the love, the intense connections. I don't know how in the world anybody could deny this. I love this. Amen. Amen, Misha. But if you don't think Steve's watching going, did I get everybody hungry now for the chickens? I mean, do you think he's watching? Absolutely. I don't know if he is. I think to me, it brings me some kind of comfort to know that my dad may be watching. If you watch the end of my shows, I'm going to try to do this without crying, y'all. If you watch the end of my shows, there's a picture that I purposely put up of snow and a tree. And I literally did it. It was Christina and her then boyfriend had their first date. And they of course lived like 3 hours away. Then they were, we met halfway. And I just sat in the car and I said to my husband, I have a feeling about this guy. I don't know. It's just this feeling. He said, so do I. And this was just at the beginning. And they had been talking for months prior to this. And I just remember walking and I took this picture. I was just taking a picture of a sun and the snow. And I got in the car and I said to my husband, and I'm just out there and I'm thinking, and I thought, Dad, I so much wish you could be a part of watching this unfold. This part of Christina's life unfold for your daughter. Or your granddaughter, excuse me. And you know what? I got in the car and I went to look at these pictures that I had taken. And I started weeping. And I said, Josh, you're not going to believe this. That picture, if you look at it, has the sun shining in the shape of a cross. My dad died in 2021 in January. This was February 6th of 2021. And I was like, thank you, Lord, for just the sign that my dad's watching and he's in a place that he's happy. If you watch the end of all my videos, that picture of that cross coming through those trees, it was absolutely amazing. Yes, the pain makes us feel and recognize how much we need each other and how much we love each other. Love you, my friend. I love you too. Costco here is sold them over $1 less than everyone else. Costco reports it loses 83 cents on each chicken. That's an interesting fact. Hi, Butter Roll Boutique. But they make more away in 83 cents when they get than 83 cents when I go to get the chicken. Okay. I'm trying not to. I've never used StreamYard before to overwhelm people with never ending questions of what you need. Nobody wants to admit that you need, especially when during tough times. It's ever remind them about the laundry. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh yes, he is here. I'm positive. There will be music surrounding him too. Yeah. Yes, nobody just buys the chicken. Absolutely. Here's the thing. When somebody's going through grieving and they're in the midst of it, they don't often know what they need, what they want, what they can do. Sometimes getting out of bed is just a challenge. When I lost my dad, I lost him while I was recovering from COVID. I lost my dad without the opportunity of being able to be there with him. Because we all had COVID. It was cold. The lines are too long to buy chicken. It was cold. And they said, yeah, you can come see him through the window. I didn't get to be there for my dad. I didn't get to say my goodbyes to him. But I know he knew I loved him. Just show up with paper plates, forks, and spoons, etc. Because I know no one needs to worry about dishes, just the little things to show love in thoughtful ways. Absolutely, Miss Hummingbird. I love that. You know what? You're using music to celebrate Steve today. Amen. You know what? When my daughter moves, we're going to buy her some dinner, and we're going to bring her some paper plates so she doesn't have to worry about doing dishes for a little bit. And disposable forks and knives, and then just eat your dinner and throw it away because you're going to be really tired. And they're doing some remodeling too, so they're going to be exhausted. I'm not going to just take the plates. Don't even worry about having to throw them out. Just throw them out. Does anyone know if Costco will let you buy with the app? Like, I don't know because I'm a Sam's Club person. I'm not. Costco is not near us. Sam's Club is. So bring them paper plates. Think about, this is not just for when somebody passes away. What about if somebody's moving? Somebody has a baby? Find out sometimes. And I think that there's also, a part of a generation that does not want to ask for help. Asking for help is, I don't know if you consider it weak or not, but they feel like they're weak, or they're feeling like they don't want to ask for help because nobody did. I know for my grandmother, you didn't ask for help. When my uncle passed away, our local butcher that knew my grandparents and knew my uncle for many, many years, you know what he did? He just said, I'm making a meal. That was it. That was done. It was just given. Stop by. We got a meal. They fed us for a week. But it was done. There was no questions asked. You're done. I'm trying to get the nerve to record myself singing Rainbow Connection and record. Jen, you can do it. And let me put this out to you. If you need somebody on the other side of the phone, I will gladly be on. All you have to do is call me. Honest to goodness. I'll put myself on mute. If you want to call me. Oh, you meant the post. I meant post it. Post it. If you finished it, post it. Because Steve would tell you to do it. Am I not correct? Am I absolutely not correct about it? Kristen says, for me, I've learned very early on that I had to take care of myself. My mom was wonderful, but she was overwhelmed a lot, and she learned to keep everything I learned to keep everything to myself, just take care of everyone around. Guess what? You don't have to do that anymore. We all learn sometimes to. I struggle with it too. And my husband was like, why are you doing this? Why can't you just ask for help? Ask for help. Stop trying to do it by yourself. You can't. If you need something and you're having trouble walking, ask for help. You don't have to take care of yourself. Because location, I can't necessarily be there to help, but I can certainly be there by phone. Sometimes just having somebody there makes a heck of a lot of difference, Yep, I agree, 7. Just warm up and hit record. Sing a few of your favorite songs or sing the Rainbow Connection. Absolutely. It's hard to unlearn. I guarantee you it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's hard, but it's necessary. There was a lady that told my mother, not asking for help and allowing people to come beside you to help, you're being selfish. And it's true. It's honest to goodness true. If you don't ask for help and you want to think you can do it by yourself and people can't come by and bless you by helping you, it makes them feel good when they do it, especially friends that have your back. I'm trying to keep up with all the comments. We see you. We're sending you hugs. Yes, Mary, you've been a wonderful blessing to me. Oh, well, you know what? You've been a wonderful blessing, and I'm thankful. You do what you need to, but I'm if the person's not blessing you to benefit your mental health, then you need to block them. I'm talking about the people that are coming beside you to help, that got your back, that are going to bless you, that are going to bless you, that are not going to do anything to harm you. But if there's somebody coming in trying to bless you and they're harming you, you need to block them. No, because that's not really blessings. They're thinking they're doing it, but they're not. See, when you come in to help somebody and you come in to help them and have their back and bless them, guess what? There should be nothing that you're looking back in return. Nothing. If I text Kristen, I'm going to pick on you, Kristen. If I text her and I just text her an uplifting thing, I'm not looking for anything in return. If it made her day and she is busy running around taking care of her son and taking care of her stuff, that's fine. I'm not here to worry about it. I'm not looking for anything else. If Jenn right now, and I send her a little message that just says, hugs, I love you, and I'm thinking about you, and I'm praying for you, and she doesn't send me anything for 3 days, and she doesn't read it for 3 days, no problem. I'm not looking for anything. If you are truly trying to help somebody and bless them, I know that my friend will give me a thank you note for those chickens. I don't want it. I don't want it. If it helps you, if it helped you to not have to worry about dinner after moving 2 full U-Hauls that day and having our church help you move, if it gave you dinner on the table and you didn't have to think about dinner, that's all I needed. I didn't need anything else. So when we're trying to help somebody or bless them, why are we looking to get some kind of payback? We shouldn't be looking for anybody to get payback from. Nothing. I'm giving this. What's her name? Candace Cameron said it changed her perspective when she said to her husband, and I'm glad you like my messages, Jenn. She said to her husband that this person was asking to borrow money. And she said, I don't think we'll ever get it back. They have some money. I know they can probably lend it out. And he said, you know what? We got to a point where we finally said, you know what? If we lend anybody money, we're not going to ask for it back ever. If it blesses them and we have the financial means to do so, we're going to give it to them with no expectation for any money back. Because it is a blessing to them. We're not going to ask for it. If we get it back, that's wonderful. If not, it's perfectly fine. She said it changed her perspective. And she said now, if she lends somebody money, or she doesn't lend, she gives. If she gets it back, she gets it back. If she doesn't, she doesn't. If she can afford to do so, then that's fine. Oh, is a credit positive and full of love. So are you. So are you. So are you. So let's not expect anything in return. Let's not expect it. So let's not expect it. If I get a thank you note from any of the things I did on Saturday, fine. If not, or Friday, or Wednesday, it was Wednesday, Saturday, it's fine. Let's stop expecting anything. The thing is, and here's the thing. If I know that my friend that I brought those chickens to Saturday, if I needed her, if anything happened, she's going to have my back. She's a sweetheart of a woman. Love her. She'd have my back. Absolutely 100%. If something happened to my husband and he was in the hospital, or something happened to any one of my family members, or I went in for the hospital, she'd have my back. Absolutely. There's a lot of people in my church that would have my back. So guess what? I'm going to have her back, as I know she's going to have mine. I've learned to never expect anything from anyone. That's why I'm never disappointed. Yes, I agree to that. We shouldn't put our expectations up there. But let's value the people you know have your back. And I'm sorry, there are friends that we should be expecting that, guess what? I know they're going to have my back. And I know, like my friend that I was talking about that moved, I know I've got her back. And I would expect that if something happened, guess what? She's going to have mine. She's going to be there for me in whatever capacity she is. The family member that has decided to out of my life, guess what? I will never expect anything from that person ever again. If they do decide to reconnect with me, that's fine. Can't do anything about it. But I'm never going to put my expectations anywhere near where I could get hurt again. That's for sure. I think it depends sometimes on the situation. This is how my folks taught me to think about lending money to friends and family. Don't worry about getting it back. Once it belongs to them, and it's their business what they do with it. Amen. But don't give money out to people if you can't do it. That's true. But I was using that as an example of, there's no expectations for it to come back. I don't expect my friend to go pick me 2 chickens up at Sam's Club and drop them at my house. I'm just there to help. That's it. But when you give to the needy, don't let your left hand know your right hand is doing it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've told the story, and I think this is a perfect time for it. Important not to give when you can't afford. And mind you, I'm an Elvis fan. Sorry for those people that think I'm weird, but I'm an Elvis fan through and through. But Elvis, I was probably in my 40s. I'm celebrating my 29th birthday for the rest of my life. But anyway, true. But anyway, I learned this story when I was in my 40s. I've been an Elvis fan since I was in my teen years, which is probably over 30 years. I didn't even know this story existed. Okay. But it was a story about a woman that had no legs. And she was on this little scooter, this little wooden thing they had made with wheels. And she was using these little rollerblades to move herself around. She'd raised grandchildren and children, and they showed Elvis the story. And Elvis said, do me a favor. Get me the best wheelchair money can buy. Best wheelchair. Fastest, do whatever. And they got it. They put it in the back of the car, and they put it in the limo. And they drove it to this woman's house. Now, this woman was African American. Elvis was not racist by any stretch of the means. He didn't have a racist bone in his body. Didn't matter what color skin she was. He just wanted to help her. So they got to the door, and they said to the husband, listen, you know this Elvis story. Well, I'm going to tell it to the people that don't know it. Anyway, they showed up at the door, and they said, we got a gift for your wife. And it was the wheelchair. They brought the wheelchair in, and this woman came out. They said the house was spotless. Came out of the house, or she came around the corner. She saw this wheelchair, and her face lit up. And she said, is that mine? Can I sit in it? Elvis said, yes. And he lifted her up, and somebody else lifted her up, Sonny West, I believe, and put her in this wheelchair. And he gave money to the gentleman. He said, listen, ma'am, I don't know much about this wheelchair, but I know it's going to take you anywhere you want to go. And he said, he'll do it really fast. And they said they had to get out of there because Elvis wanted to cry, and everybody wanted to cry, and everybody was crying. And he said he left the house, and one of his bodyguards turned to Elvis and said, Elvis, I don't think she knew who you were. Now, this was in the 70s. This is Elvis Presley. I will never call him the king of rock and roll. There's only one king. He didn't like it either. And he was a legend. This is Elvis. Everybody knows Elvis. And he said, man, it doesn't matter who I am. It matters someone cared about her. He didn't bring the camera crews. He didn't bring the news stations. He didn't bring anything. I don't even know if there's photos of this. He didn't bring anything. He walked in as Elvis, not Elvis Presley, the entertainer, Elvis, the human being. Gave this woman a wheelchair, powered, that was going to change her life and make her life easier. Gave her husband some money to help out. And left not caring if the woman knew that the person that did this was Elvis Presley, the entertainer. I have a funny feeling that maybe that's the way we should be living. I think to some degree the way Steve lived. He just wanted people to know that, guess what? Someone cared about him. That is why this connection project that I am doing for you know who, our captain, is so important to me. Because I think it stretches far beyond him getting the postcards, Tommy getting them, or Cedar or Spanx. I think it's past that to showing the entire crew and the people on YouTube what this connection thing is all about. And I'm sitting there going, we have 81 in my group that's trying to get this because I don't want to talk about every detail in the lifeboat. There's 860 in that lifeboat group. There is people that I'm meeting that I didn't know existed in the lifeboat. And their names are popping up in the chat. And I'm like, I know who that person is now. And I've got somebody helping Tracy with putting lists together of YouTube channels and names so we understand who the name is. And she's even going to, those that feel comfortable doing city and state. I want to show the world through this whole thing and thank somebody that has truly been a life-changing for a lot of people. And wouldn't it be nice if anybody wants to send a postcard to Q? Wouldn't it be nice to stack them on up? I'm sure Tommy would save every solitary one of them. And when he gets out, he could have a whole box of postcards, look, of people that he had never met that want to say thank you for caring. It took one person Q came in and saw a diamond in the rough. That diamond in the rough was Tommy. Girl, you're talking stuff I've been talking about for a year now. I'm sorry, but I agree. Listen, I'll just tell you a little bit about Mary. My dad and my mom moved into a house next to us. It had paint all over it that was not so many, not greatest colors. My mom said, I'll just live with it. I said, Mom, the yellow was mustard yellow. It was just, and I said, listen, if we don't paint this now, it's never going to happen. So she said to me, she goes, okay. And we went ahead and did it. We didn't really have the funds to paint it. And I got connected somehow with somebody that was a manager at Home Depot. I realized my dad was a vet. And they donated all the paint. And then I called the Navy Reserves. And I talked to somebody. When the Saturday rolled around, I had 10 to 12 gentlemen and women in that house painting. There was only a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. I had literally 2 people to 3 people in each room and all the paint that we needed. So if you want to know this girl, I will work with anybody on the lifeboat that wants to get something done. 100%. If we've been talking about it for a year, it's time to stop talking about and doing it. And it cannot be one person. I can't do this project on my own and by myself. I got the postcard and I did it. Hold on a second. We have to work together. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Misha, you can send me a message day or night. Absolutely. It's not going to happen with one person. Yep, you have a lot on your plate. I don't mind. I will come and lift that off. We'll get it done. We're going to get it done. It's going to happen. Absolutely. You got a lot on your plate, hon, and I realize that. I realize in interacting with a lot of you almost every day now, the only people I do that with is my husband and child. You are like family now. That's heavy and wonderful. Absolutely. I'm getting bunches of sisters and brothers, and I don't have any. I've got sister-in-laws and brothers-in-laws, brother-in-law, love them tremendously. But the people through the lifeboat are family. They are absolute family. But absolutely, 100%. We are all family. We are a tribe. Love you. Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that. But my point is, there's 81 in the group that talks about the Connection Project. There's 860 in the Lifeboat group. Do we need to do something? And the only reason I set that up, the Lifeboat Connection Project group, is so we could talk about other details that are forming from this project that are not going to be put out in the Lifeboat. So there's some kind of surprise for Tommy when he gets it. That's the only reason I did it. I don't want to take anything from the Lifeboat group at all. And I did not tell me what you need. Thank you, 7th. Oh, I will. That's why I will send you an email. I just need it to be spread to what we're doing. That's all. I need more people. Like I said, I need more people to realize here's where you send the postcards. Send them on. I have a box. See this box? We've come up with a couple names for her. Rosie is one of my top favorite. Bessie is another one. There's a couple different names happening with this box. And all this box is getting are postcards. And I want to fill it and I want to overfill it. I got a letter. And this was the first postcard I got. But I have a letter and I want to fill this box. And I put it in the light box. I want to fill it and overfill it for Tommy. The box is going to stay with me. I put in the lifeboat about this box. And I picked this up for a very important reason. I was at Hobby Lobby for yarn. And I decided, like Rosie, I love roses. Perfect people are being put in perfect places. Amen. Absolutely. I love Rosie too. It's probably what it's going to be ended up with. But here's the thing, y'all. I was looking at these boxes. Yes, and I sent you an email 7th with exactly where the postcards need to be sent. I was standing at the register and I saw these boxes and I looked at all the boxes. And I looked at them and the flower box and this and that. I picked up this box because the people on the lifeboat have changed me since December. That's when somebody came in from the lifeboat. She knows who she is and stepped in and gave me a life preserver when I was going through a very difficult time. When I was in middle school, I was heavily bullied and my name was Cow. I wasn't Mary. I was called Cow. And I decided to take this box because I thought she was beautiful with her glasses and the flowers on her hair. And I thought, I'm not a cow. I'm not that. I'm Mary. But I'm going to get this box because the people on the lifeboat have started to change how I look at myself. Because I have people that want to be my friend and that care about me. And I'm not by myself anymore. And I picked up the box with the cow on it. And I look at this cow in a very different way. It's not the schoolgirl getting bullied with that name or the sounds that would come with it. And that's the box I chose to put all of the postcards we're going to get for Tommy and for Spanx and for Cedar in this. And then when he gets done, I've got the blanket I'm going to start soon. We're going to be doing a book, a connection book. We're going to be doing there's another girl that wants to do a video thing with everybody saying a little thank you. It's growing. I don't want to discuss it in the lifeboat because I don't want to spill all the beans. And if he watches it, if he watches this video, he watches it. But please know, Captain, if you do, your crew is here and please trust us. We would do nothing but everything to do to lift up the lifeboat. Hey, Miss Kelly. You were bullied in school, so was I, tremendously, heavily. And the name that was used was called Cow. And I decided to take that back and use it in a way that was positive. And you all have helped tremendously with it. Tremendously. And I got that box. And I thought, I'm going to put those postcards in it because this group's changed my life. Life-changing. And listen, I'm not doing this to get subs. You were made fun of too. Shouldn't be allowed. I'm not doing this video for subs, likes, or any kind of bonus points. I hope people realize bullying is wrong. Absolutely. I hope people realize that I'm doing it because I want to make sure people realize I got their back. I'm doing it from the heart. If I get likes and subs, you know what? If you like and sub my channel and this video, do it for one person. Let's do it for Steve. Because he would love to see the connection ripples happening. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for me. my children were heavily bullied. It's so wrong. And it was a time and place when often the school would blame the person that was getting bullied versus the people that were actually bullying. And I will tell you this, if it wasn't for the fact that I had my mother's grandfather who unalived himself and my uncle who did the same thing, I probably would not be here. Because the bullying got so bad that I didn't want to be here. And I just thought, I'm my mother's only child. I cannot do this to her. And so I turned to food, but I cannot do this. And thank God I didn't. But you know what? I had my family and I had God, but to go to school and be bullied every day. And when I got done, when I went to another school for 9th and I came out of that and I went to a new school hoping to get a new lease on life, and it didn't happen. I just turned to my mother very nicely and I said, you have to do me a favor at 9th grade. You've got to get me out of here. And I went for my GED for the rest of it. You got to get me out. I can't do this. I can't. But part of doing the connection project is to show those, not only Tommy, all the connections that are happening. And wouldn't it be cool to put all those postcards on the back of his wall? No plain wall anymore, right? Look at all the connections he's made. But it's to show everybody on the lifeboat, look at the ripples that are visually. I'm a visual looker, a visual person. That's how I input information. Look at all of them. Wouldn't it be awesome for him to hold a stack this high full of postcards on the table of all the different postcards? It would be amazing. My younger sister was bullied in public school. She had autism, could not deal with it, and the school did nothing. I would love to stay, but I have to go put my little guy to bed. I will see you soon. Love and hugs. You're all amazing. Go give him a hug for me too, Kristen, please. Let me tell you something. To all those kids that bullied your sister that was in school that had autism, you found my email, good. Let's just say this. They wouldn't like me too much. If you've seen my stuff, you've seen my daughter. I take autism very seriously, y'all. That is one of the reasons why I'm having her on. She's coming into her own. It's why I want people to understand autism and really get what it's about. All it is just your mind thinking differently. That's all it is. Your mind's just thinking differently. No big deal. But sometimes the parents are as bad as the kids. Every parent should be coming beside everything. Let me ask you this. If you're a parent in school and you have your classmate in school that has autism or any kind of special need, why don't you invite that other parent out to lunch and sit down and find out all about it? Huh? Nobody did that for me. I'd love for somebody to take me out to lunch and spend about 2 hours telling them my daily life. Not to make them feel bad about me or feel bad and all this kind of stuff. It was just, I wanted them to understand how difficult it was for me on a daily basis and understand my daughter. And maybe if they would sit down with me and take the time to get to know me and get to know what my daughter is going through, goodness gracious, maybe they can help their kids understand my daughter. If you've got a person in your class that has special needs, take that person out to lunch and sit down and say, can I help me understand? They don't want to understand because it's different. Guess what? My daughter's going to move mountains. She's amazing. She's amazing with dogs. And if it was up to her, she'd rescue every pit bull you could imagine. You know why? Because they're the misunderstood breed. And she's saved some dogs, some pit bulls that have been misunderstood and had second chances. I mean, look at Mocha. You can see videos of her. She's just gotten a second chance at life. My husband said to me recently, because we do need to get him an autism or a diabetic service dog. But he said to me, I know. I know. That's what I said. That's what Tracy and I said. Put them on the walls and take up that wall, that total wall back there. My granddaughter is brilliant. Yes, they are. They are. They just think differently. That's all it is. That's all it is. They're just thinking differently than you and I. That's all it is. Um, that is all that it is. I'm going to put the lifeboat in here. So anybody that's here that's not a part of the lifeboat, please go check it out. It is a channel that does deal with, sobriety, but it's also a channel that just everybody's in the same boat. I have never been addicted to drugs or alcohol, but I have met some tremendous people, and I'm just trying to deal with this thing called life. And fibromyalgia can certainly make you at times really hard. When you have to wake up and hurt and you have to go to bed and hurt, and when you're tired. I remember, I think it was, what day was Thursday? And it was Friday. And I'm like, man, I could just go. I slept all night, but I felt like I could go to sleep for another 3 hours. And it's a really hard battle. There's anybody that's dealing with a battle. Anybody. We all are human. Captain Tommy's just as much about this, much of this crew as each one of ours are. Do you think it's hard or easy to get on here and get emotional? It's not. It's not easy for any content creator to get vulnerable. But you know what it shows? I'm just as human as you are. And I hope my greatest thing will be somebody coming up to me and saying, Mary, you're just exactly who you are in person. The person that's on the other side of the screen you're just the same. That's exactly who I want to be. I don't want to be any different. I'd probably come up and give you a hug. That's who I am. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not a cow. I'm Mary. And I'm the girl that gets it done. I will find out a way. I can't maybe go and help you move and help physically move items and do all that kind of stuff, but I can do things like I'm doing. And I do my best to get through my day. And I do it with my friends. And I do it with what I've built as a support family. And there's some people in this support family I'll never meet in person. But I'm sure glad they're a part of it. And there's some people I will. And I'm grateful for every solitary one of you. And can we look down? Just joined. Awesome. Welcome, fellow crew member, to the lifeboat. Tommy is awesome. Start watching some of his old videos. Start watching and get to know him. He really has tremendously helped. And if this connection project, if the ultimate goal of that connection project is that we can actually, those that wanted to donate to the yarn or whatever it is of this project can turn around and we can actually raise funds for those that need medically assisted treatment. Full circle. That's the ultimate goal. People have reached out and said, do you want money for the yarn? And I said, nope, not one bit. Not one bit. Because the end goal is, don't send it now, but when it's all done and given, that's what I want you to do with it. You go help somebody else. I got it covered. I got your back. If people haven't been noticing for the past hour and a half, and I thought I'm just going to let this show run for as long as we need today. The lifeboat will come on 10 o'clock Eastern. It comes on the 7th. It's been moved. 7 to 7. 7 in the morning. Is it Central Time? And Pacific Time? I think. Correct me. I think it's Pacific Time. And I know for me, it's 10 o'clock in the morning because I'm Eastern and 10 o'clock at night. So it's on the 10s for me, but he does it on the 7s. I think it's Pacific Time. I think. He does it on the 7s. And so that's why I try very hard not to come on his time slot. I don't want to take anybody from the lifeboat. Not one bit. I want people to totally be there and be present because I need it as much as everybody else does. And I want to be there and support. Um, but y'all, we have each other's back. And I think to some degree it's a stream that has been thrown, it's a saying that's been thrown around. But let's take that to the next level. Let's start really putting people in support that really are going to say, I have your back, you have mine. And Butterroll Boutique, you're on the lifeboat, you're going to be surrounded by people that are going to say that, and they're being totally genuine. Let me just tell you, you're going to meet some amazing people. Amazing people. And Sandy Wendy is one of them. Kristen's one of them. Jenn is one of them. Miss Lady, I mean, all these people here, a majority of them are coming from the lifeboat. And I think I'm so thankful for them. And if you, Kelly B is one of them. We're going to get her on my channel here. Because we're going to get her practicing coming live. I have every confidence she's going to be awesome. Awesome. And that's where we have each other's back. Because she said, I'm nervous to go live. And I said, well, why don't we have you on my channel? And I'm sure we can stream it on your channel. I figured this whole StreamYard thing out. Because I'm saving StreamYard for family or for people coming on. Because there's limited before I can, it's like $250 before I can do the whole thing where I don't have to worry about hours. I'm trying to figure out, I have OBS, but I'm also trying to figure out how to get the chat in OBS. I've got Streamlabs, so if I can figure out how to make the camera work in Streamlabs, then I'll do that when I'm just by myself. But, if it helps, see, that's how I'm having her back. Say, come on, practice. Let's just, come on, tell your story. Come on, let's do it so it's not so, because she's going to be awesome. Let's do it so that we're not, you're not nervous. You can just come on and do it, and you're going to be awesome. Do you have to be perfect? Heck no, I'm not. Goodness gracious. I'm far from it. I've put in Kelly B link in there. We can go ahead and like her channel for those that are here. Get her up. And give me a minute because I'm going to put somebody else's that had to put their little one to sleep. Should I start singing the Love Boat or something like that? Whatever. Green Acres. That's the one Tommy sings. It's Green Acres. I don't have much of a voice. My daughter would tell you I don't have much of a voice. Not one bit. I'm also going to put Kristen's channel in here that she just had to leave to put her little one to bed. So if we can like her channels, put those links in there. Yep. Yep, exactly. I agree. For those that don't know who Q is somebody that Tommy met in prison that came beside him and he's where he is today because of Q. Q is a brother to him. And because he's a brother to him, he's family to us. One of the things we would like to do with what Tracy's working on with all the connection, sub to both, awesome. What we would like to do with the book that we're trying to put together with everybody, showing pictures like they met in Tucson today. I lost my train of thought. Oh, the pictures. The pictures that Now I understand the comment. Anyway, like the pictures we're trying to gather, like they met in Tucson today and there was some connection pictures and I forwarded them on to Tracy. What we're trying to do is put a book together. And wouldn't that be awesome? And the book is going to be dedicated to Q. And the book is also going to be in memory of all those that have passed since the lifeboats the lifeboat has come into existence. And so wouldn't it be awesome for him to be able to get that book and see all the connections being made? Like a yearbook, connection book. That's what our ultimate goal is, what we would like to do. And that's where all those books are going to, all those pictures that you all are coming in or sending in of all you guys connecting. Tracy has been a little under the weather this week, so we are going to get Zoom calls happening. We do have Discord, and we're thankful for that. There's always someone there to talk, but more of the face-to-face connection. She can do rooms with Zoom, so we're going to do that so we can meet each other. You don't have to be on camera, but please know you don't have to have makeup on. You don't have to have your hair fixed. You can if you want. Do you. Do as beautifully as you want. Be yourself. Be your authentic you. If putting makeup on and getting your hair fixed makes you happy and makes you feel good, go right ahead. What an awesome idea. It's because of Q that did help Captain get sober. How that has blessed each of us. Absolutely. And it only took one person. Only took one person. This whole project started with just my idea of doing the blanket and doing the postcard. Nothing else. And it just grew because people started adding. And we have to make sure we don't make it too big. I don't think it is. I think it's exactly where it needs to be. But it is the ripple effect, absolutely. And my channel is part of that ripple effect. I'd have never been here without Tommy because I thought, I don't want to show people how to crochet. I don't want to do tutorials. I don't want to do videos. I'll direct you where you can go crochet, but that's not where I want to, that's not my jam. That's not what I want to do. I hope I'm talking about stuff that people are enjoying me listen to. I hope I'm giving people a place to come and connect with each other. That's what I want to do. You are blessed to do something. It does not have to be crochet. I'm blessed to do other things beside crochet. If it is to be a talkative person and have the gift of gab and make people feel comfortable and safe and feel like they never met a stranger, wonderful. Thank you, Dad. Came from him. And I can just be a channel that can do that. And I'm thrilled to do it. I know Steve was a Christian. I know that he believed in exactly that. For those that don't believe in Christ, that's fine. We need to respect each other's. We ask you come here and do nothing but respect each other's beliefs, both politically, religiously. But it is part of who I am that I cannot hide, and I will not hide under a barrel. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. So I'd like to take a moment, and I know Steve would want it. Let's just take a moment and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just ask tonight that you will wrap your loving arms around each one that is grieving the loss of our brother Steve. We ask that you would just give them peace and comfort during this very difficult time. We know Steve is tremendously missed, but we also know that he is in heaven feeling no pain. He's with you, Lord. And so we ask that you would do nothing but comfort the people that he has left behind. Let us all figure out a way to leave this world a lot better than what we came into it. We lift up Q, and we lift up his mother. We ask for complete healing for Q. We ask that he can be able to talk again, that he can come out of that prison and do even more to change the world. He's done so much just to change it behind prison. We ask, dear Heavenly Father, that you will give comfort and peace to Q's mom. We just ask that you give comfort to everybody on the lifeboat, that you would protect them and bless them. I am so thankful for everyone that you have put in my life, Lord. You have certainly blessed me. May I be a blessing to each one of them. And I ask this in your precious name, Lord. Amen. Steve, that was for you. Thank you for being an amazing crew member to this lifeboat, and you will not be forgotten, not one bit. Life preservers, every one of us. Many of us have had our life preservers saved via the boat. Amen. My wife's dog was trained to be alert, diabetes flare-up, and wow, my wife's dog's trained to alert with her diabetes flare-up. Wow, we are waiting. My wife developed hydroeclampsia and was told that it will require surgery, 10 weeks of on-site training. It will. Aubrey alerted just as if she was trained. The dog that you see in the picture with my daughter is her autism service dog. It was in service for her from 2013 officially to 2019. He got diabetes the last year of his life. My daughter was diagnosed with diabetes 6 months after receiving Jordan, or he would have been a dual diagnosis dog. Jordan could train himself how to alert when Christina at times when she was low and high, and did the same thing for my husband. She would start to act a little funny, and he would just sit up, look at her, and not move. And she'd just say, "Do I need to test Jordan?" And the minute she pulled out her meter and test, Jordan relaxed. There was one time where she was in the middle of the night and she hit a low, and he woke her up and she was like at 70. And there was one time she was high and he wouldn't settle down, and it was because she was in the 300s. So it is absolutely doable. Josh needs a diabetic service dog. The difficult part is going to be if we go with one place that will give him a dog for nothing. They're only allowing one dog in the house. And we've made the decision that Mocha, those can see the video, is just, we started to try to rehome her last year. And that's just not been successful. And we just really feel, after all that Mocha has been through, and we really know her well. She did very well at the vet this last time, even though she needed the shot in the butt to make her get everything else that, all the stuff that she needed. They let her walk around after she was waking up for about an hour, and she was sniffing and letting the vet text train her and all that kind of stuff, or not train her, but pet her and hug her and do all this stuff and touch her. And they're not scared of her. They know her well enough now. They're just an amazing vet office. And we've decided not to rehome her, even though Christina would like to take her maybe years down the road before she's able to do that. And if not, my husband's like, I don't want to rehome her. I want her. If we go with another place that's local here, they will help to find a dog that we can work with Mocha to train both Mocha with the dog, but that's about a $15,000 cost. And I don't have $15,000, but miracles happen every day. So it's meant to happen. But for him, it would be tremendously helpful, because he can go very high and very low very quickly. And sometimes his Dexcom does not pick it up. And if it does, and I hear that noise, I literally have to get up and run like crazy to go get him something. He has apple juice by his bed and stuff, but a dog would detect about 20 to 30 minutes prior. And I will be doing a show on service dogs, because there's a lot of knowledge I have that I'd like to pass on to people, exactly what in my experience having. And I'll have my daughter on talking about her experience coming from the person who was served with a service dog. You have to run, Sandy. I'm so thank you for coming on. I like Kelly B. We're all ripples and we will reach far and wide. Yes, we will, Kelly. And I will work with you this month and get you on here. Start practicing. If that's okay with you, I'd love to have you on. Misha, love you, girl. Love you, Kelly. You know that's right. Yes, Q. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad, Kelly. Well, I'm going to let you all go because the boat is coming on in about 15 minutes. We love everybody here. This was awesome. I may have a difficult time going back to OBS. I have got to figure out either OBS or that so I can put the chat in and what have you. And eventually I will get where I can be StreamYard so I can do this. I tried to put as many comments up. I wasn't trying to overflow everybody with comments, but I really wanted this to be as many comments. I wanted people to see the connection that was happening through this. And that's why I decided to do it through StreamYard tonight versus doing it through the regular setup I have until I can figure out how to get the chat. Anybody's familiar with OBS or Streamlabs that could assist me, I will be glad to video chat with them. And eventually I'll get to StreamYard and then we can do this more because I'm really liking having the comments on the screen. We're going to get there, yo, one little bit by one little bit, right? I just wish it wasn't so expensive to do the unlimited and all that, but we'll get there. Miracles happen every day. So thank you for joining us today to honor Steve. Please, let's all make sure that we have each other's back, that it happens both ways. People on the lifeboat should have each other's back. That's what we should be doing as crew members, as support. And if you can, outside of that, you have people in your life that you can be that, have their back and expect nothing in return, but knowing that they have yours too. I think it's just the more support you can have both here, both in your own personal life, in your community. I think the ripples are here, but I think also as much as we can, we need to spread them in the community. I mean, can you imagine what is happening here in the chat if you had it in your local neighborhood? What would be happening in some of those really tough neighborhoods that you have that support? It would just be amazing to see the ripple effect coming out of this, out even further and extending further to make the world so much better. Somebody said yesterday, you know what? We could use a lot more Steves in our lives. Yeah, we could. And we could use a lot more Marys and a lot more Kellys and Miss Lady Hummingbirds and Kristen and Misha and everybody that's been here tonight, Seventh, and I'm going to go through Butter Roll Boutique. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I tried to get everybody. If we had more people, like every solitary person that showed up tonight, man alive, oh boy, we'd be changing the world. Hi, Passion for Yarn. Go check out her channel too as well. She is awesome. And I will be on her channel eventually. Tomorrow, I don't know if I will be on because I have my therapist appointment tomorrow. We are trying to work on the garage, getting that cleaned out, declutter. We got rid of a couple bags, so I'm going to have you hold me all accountable to it. But I don't know if I'll be on. Usually when I get done with my therapy appointment, I'm pretty emotionally spent and I usually come home and rest because I'm tired. So we'll just see. Fridays and My Other Keepers, before I forget, let me post her link too as well. If you're not My Other's Keeper, we do a Friday, Sandy Wandy, boy, she was on it. My Other's Keeper, we do a trivia on Fridays at 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that's a lot of fun. And so I don't know when. I probably will try to come on Tuesday. Maybe I'll come on with my daughter. So that's my other's keeper. And I'm going to have my other's keeper on at one point. She'd like for somebody to tell her story. And she would also be doing like an interview. And also because she does struggle with bipolar, my grandmother did. And I thought that when I do tell that story about my grandmother, I thought it'd be a great thing to have her on to do an insight with her, to be able to kind of bounce things off with her when I tell that story because of her insight. So that's what we're going to do. And I hate to almost leave. We got 11 people here. I love it. I love all this connection. I love it. And you know what? Let's give those people that were close to Steve time to grieve. They need to grieve. They need to be sad. And it's okay to be sad. You made it back. Jen, we love you. Please know that. It's okay. We have the boat 10. Yep. Where I'm going to get off in a minute. I'm doing that Southern goodbye. Here's the thing. People that were close to Steve need time to grieve. They need him to cry. But I also know that the people that are here to shine a little light and do some smiles, when those people can't, that's okay. Because if I have a funny feeling Steve would want you to smile. But you need time to grieve, and it's okay. And I'm Jen, if you need, you can call me if you need to just have somebody be there. We are not doing this by ourselves. No way, no how, no shape, no form. It's not happening. Not in this girl's watch. Not in this girl's. So we surround everybody on the crew, and let's get some more people that are like in this chat, like Steve in this world. And I've got your back, and I know you have mine. God, thank you for the blessing that you put of Steve in our lives. The ripple effect will happen with him. Which version? We're back. Safely exchange numbers. You can just, Kelly, if you want to message me on Facebook, I will gladly. There will people I will give my phone out to, and there are people I won't. Facebook, yep. Facebook or Messenger. There's people I will gladly give my phone number out, and to those watching that I don't feel comfortable, you're not getting it. But, in that situation, when we don't feel comfortable enough, let me just say this real quick. If you don't feel comfortable enough to hand out your phone number to people, you have Facebook Messenger that you can hit a phone. You do not have to even give out your number. They can find you on Facebook. If you have Facebook, they can do it through, I think they can do it through Instagram. I'm not too hip on Instagram. I'm sure there's other apps you can do it. I know Instagram where you have the phone and the video, you don't have to give out your phone number. But there will be people that I will give it out. Absolutely. And I have no problem. WhatsApp. So, Passion for Yarn, go to the lifeboat. That is who's going on live, and that's where all of us will be. We'll be in the lifeboat, too. So I'm putting that link on right now. And Misha, one thing real quick, if you're still here, I will try to put a comment. I put one in this morning about the postcards. So hopefully Tommy did see it. It took a little bit, but that's fine. He had a lot of flying comments. Believe me, I understand it now totally. But just if you can make sure that, I know you're a mod in there, if you could just make sure people know that in the Facebook group and in the Discord is the address for my PO box if anybody wants to send me, or they can send me through that email, to send a card or a postcard for Steve. So Deb, don't forget your life preservers. I greatly agree with that. So anyway, if you could just, I know you'll make it known to let people know that I'm doing that. That would be great. That would be awesome. I will try to get my comment read and heard and so forth. And I did send Tommy an email about it as well. So have a great day, great night. Yes, I will look at your message when I get off here. I'm going to go get ready. I'm going to see everybody over at the lifeboat. Have a great night. Thank you all for being here. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let's have each other's back. And please know that you are in my prayers, each and every one of you. Floating on my back. I love that. Please know that you're in my prayers. And just please remember that God doesn't make junk. He makes you to be who you are. He makes you to be beautiful. He has created you because he loves you. And you are loved. So let's stay connected. It really is a powerful tool. Love you all. Good night. And Steve, rest in peace, my brother. You deserved it. And we all love you. Bye, everybody.